part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Hey everybody, this is the Ball Card Show, the esports podcast.
For the esports collector.
Thanks for joining in. I'm Jason Otero.
I'm Gary LeMaster.
And as always, we are brought to you by
the Press Play Podcast Network.
That's the one and only.
Kind of bought by, too.
Bought by and brought to you by.
Yeah.
And don't get too excited, ladies and gentlemen. You're missing out. We're about to eat some Chinese.
I am anxiously watching the DoorDash app as the icon for our driver slowly makes its way here.
Yeah, if you've ever wondered how fat we are, we are absolutely pausing this recording
and just crushing
3 minutes into this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm starving. I'm famished. I haven't eaten all day.
Yeah. And you had to sit at a junior high football scrimmage in the heat?
Yeah, it was sunny. It wasn't too bad. I'm ready for fall. It's been a long hot summer.
100%. Yeah.
That's the best time of the year anyway. But
agreed.
It's cool seeing my son out there with a football uniform on.
Yeah.
A bunch of middle schoolers running around like bobbleheads.
That's junior high football in a nutshell.
Yeah.
There's usually one or two kids that look like relatively grown men, and everybody else looks like they don't know what their legs are for.
Does that song come on every time you watch middle school football and you're just like, glory days, they'll pass you by, glory days? Is that what you think of with that?
No.
Oh.
Not at all.
You had to look like a string bean in middle school, didn't you?
And short. I was like 5'6" and 110 pounds. And then I grew 9.5 or 10 inches in 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's something in the water over there.
You talk about somebody who didn't know what to do with their legs for about a year. This guy right here.
Well, Gary was out gallivanting around at the beach last week.
I had a little vacation. It was nice. Tybee Island, Georgia. If you've never been, you should go. It's awesome.
I keep telling you, quit dragging your feet and just decide to commit and buy a place down there so that we have a place to rent for free. I mean,
we actually piddled around a little bit while we were down there.
I'm sure you did. You go down there 7 times a year.
We piddled around. The problem is like to live there, to buy something that 2 humans and a couple of dogs could functionally live in.
Yeah.
$556 at a minimum.
Yeah.
But we can buy like a 800 square foot condo that we can rent for $300 a night, 300 days a year for about $250.
That's where it's at.
And I think that's kind of the plan. We were looking at a few that were listed.
Well, I didn't know we were going to get breaking news here.
We'll see what happens.
Well, Leslie and I are in favor of that decision. You say it's not big enough for kids? Good deal. Sounds like we tried, but we cannot make that work. Speaking of kids, I got to give a shout out.
Okay.
Had a really good time at a family reunion last week.
Nice.
Everyone survived. Got back home, and my nephew Grayson started digging through some cards. So he's been a Pokemon collector, but he really is getting into sports cards.
Okay.
So put out a little $1 box. Said, go nuts. Pick any 10 cards out you want. I'll be darned if you didn't pick every single one of the ones that were worth more than $1. Kids got good taste. Next day, I broke out a 50-cent box and was like, hey, you can go ahead and pick what you want out of here. He looked through for a few minutes, grabbed 1 or 2 cards, and said, not as good as he said, nah, not as good stuff in here. So shout out to Grayson for getting into the hobby.
Absolutely.
Grayson, you are not going to believe what just happened.
What just happened?
As I was giving you a shout out.
The food showed up?
No, not the food. Before that.
Talk away because I'm still chewing on beef.
I put my hat back on. There was a yellow jacket inside of my hat in the basement. Started stinging me in the face.
You do look like the elephant man.
You cannot eat a mouthful of beef and broccoli.
I absolutely can.
Nobody wants to hear that, bro.
I'm moving my mouth away from the mic whenever I chew. See,
I can still hear that bite in your mouth.
You can't hear it here. Now you can't hear it.
You're done talking then? It's up to me now?
No,
Are you done with the beef and broccoli?
No, I got a few more pieces
You got
of
a
broccoli.
choice. You got a choice to make here.
No, I don't.
I do not want to hear you slopping your jaws around like a horse.
What's really crazy is once I finish the beef and broccoli, there's still some lettuce wraps.
Then why are we recording? You said hit play. Let's go.
I said, and you could just just go.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, shout out to Grayson Otero. Thanks for listening. We got a little bit of hobby news to jump into right away. Some scandals. This person's suing that person's suing them back. You're a monopolizer. So when you finish that bite, if
We're
you
all
could,
Mr. Monopoly.
You know, you take a week off, you come back a week later, and you're like, I'm going to chew through this podcast.
Yep. Hold
So-
on. So we're all on the
Oh
same
my
page.
gosh!
All right.
Wow, that
Let's
was
go.
awesome. So let's talk through this lawsuit a little bit. So Panini files a suit against Fanatics. Fanatics files a countersuit.
Yep.
Break it down as simply as possible what the arguments are and how you think this is going to roll out.
So the first lawsuit, Panini sues, and this is hilarious. Panini sues Fanatics, saying that they are trying to create a monopoly, which will be bad for the hobby. Now, if you're in this hobby, that's hilarious to you, or it should be, because Panini has had a monopoly for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is it's okay for us to have monopoly, but because we no longer have it, you can't have one either. Mm-hmm. That's the gist of their argument. There were a few other really funny pieces to their lawsuit. One was, well, we can't have this because it will leave companies like us only to make what they refer to in the lawsuit as pajama cards, which we all call non-licensed cards.
I think we should launch our own T-shirt pajama cards
Not a terrible idea.
with the Panini colors.
But that's what they call it. And they're referring to pictures that are airbrushed so that there's nothing on the uniforms, no logos anywhere. And that will be bad if that's what they're resorting to have to make. Which is hilarious because it's what they already make.
Yep, they're already doing
For
it.
baseball.
Yep.
And they're making tons of money doing it.
Yep.
Like their entire lawsuit is frivolous and hilarious, and it's a last-ditch effort to try to squeeze a little bit more money. But they're asking the judge the legal term is disgorge. For those of you who don't know what that
We know what
term-
gorging is. We listened to you 30
Yeah.
seconds ago.
Well, you won't hear me disgorge. Mine's staying. But the legal term disgorge means to give back. So what they're asking a judge to do is basically roll the clock back to late 2020 and nullify the sale of Topps to Panini, nullify the sale of the manufacturer or to Fanatics, nullify the sale of the manufacturer to Fanatics, and reset everything. The chances of this happening are so infinitesimally small that it's not funny.
Yeah.
So that's Panini's lawsuit in a nutshell. It was good for us, but it's bad now that it's you.
Yeah.
We don't like how this is working.
This didn't work. Yeah.
So Fanatics, just a few days later,
This is great.
files maybe the greatest countersuit ever. It's 30 pages, and it's well worth the read. It's not boring. It's not legalese. They did this in a way that you're going to read it and be like, oh, snap. Like, that's what it boils down to. The countersuit is filled with screenshots of tweets from Twitter users that have been blocked by Panini for asking where their redemptions are.
Oh my gosh.
It is filled with pictures of cards that have no quality control whatsoever. After Panini's lawsuit said that their manufacturer makes sure that all cards are mint when they get to customers. It details Panini's bad faith negotiations where there was an agreement in principle. And we've talked about this for a year. Back in July of 2022, Fanatics and Panini came to an agreement in principle for Fanatics to buy Panini.
Right.
Panini then strung that out. And they strung it out by presenting fake books to Fanatics that overinflated their margins. And they admitted to Fanatics, and Fanatics details this in the countersuit, that they kept two sets of books, a real set of books for internal use and an outside set of books to shine a rosy light on things.
Yep.
It also details some juicy factoids, like the CEO of Panini America coming to Fanatics and saying, hey, will you hire me? And negotiating a package, and then taking that package to his bosses at Panini International and negotiating a better deal for himself to stay at Panini.
Yeah.
It's really a fun 30-page read. I highly recommend it. What it boils down to is Fanatics is going to crush both of these lawsuits,
Yeah.
and Panini's going to be a footnote in history when
Yep.
it comes to sports cards.
Yeah. What if they get the pajama cards too? Panini, you get nothing.
Well,
You remember the Upper Deck Kids Illustrator cards?
Yeah.
That's all they're going to leave them with.
They'll have wrestling, they'll have UFC, and they'll have soccer.
Yeah, I like it. Well, it's a real shame that that's happening to Panini.
Yeah, it's awful.
Let's go on to more scandal because there is more.
Those guys.
Blake Martinez,
Yeah.
troublemaker,
Big troublemaker. Why are you looking at me?
He's guys, you're missing it right now. So, Gary, you're disgusting.
Why am I disgusting? How is this disgusting? You
He thinks now's the time for a cooking show.
No,
he's mixing beef and cheese Chinese
no,
broth.
Not beef and cheese. Beef and broccoli. Sauce. I just added the sauce to my minced chicken for my Thai lettuce wraps because they were a little dry. Why is that weird?
After a Monster, a Bud Light, a beef broccoli, I mean, I don't know.
None of this is weird. I'm just eating food.
Okay. We can't do this in 20 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
So that's a no? Still going to do it. Blake Martinez is what we're talking about
Blake
here.
Martinez.
Yeah. Good Lord. I'm sorry, those of you listening at home. This is terrible content.
This is what they tune in for.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Blake Martinez, football player turned Pokemon dealer god turned scandal.
Yeah.
Doing some shady things, getting exposed for
Lots of shady things.
So he's making enough to retire on Pokemon.
Yeah, so Blake Martinez started his career in Green Bay, strung together 2 or 3 really nice seasons, turned that into like a $35-40 million deal with the Giants, played there for 2 years, got shipped off to Las Vegas, and retired after like week 7 because over the previous 3 or 4 months, he had made like $5 million selling Pokemon cards. Mm-hmm. And he realized that he could make a lot of money doing that and not get his body destroyed.
Yeah.
Which, smart, good for him. And it was a big deal that this NFL player was entering the trading card market in a big way. He was on all the influencer shows, Sports Card Investor interviewed him, all these places.
Yep.
Goes to Whatnot and is their premier Pokemon breaker. Like, they're breaking 18 hours a day. Lots of employees running stuff. They're the backyard breaks of the Pokemon side of things.
Blake's breaks.
Blake's breaks. And there is unsubstantiated rumors, but they're coming from enough places that I think there's some truth to them, that Blake Martinez is also a relatively highly leveraged investor in Whatnot as a platform.
Yikes.
Well, come to find out, Blake's Breaks was scamming the shit out of people. Just absolutely scamming like crazy.
How?
Not sending cards to people, weighing packs and not putting hollow packs into breaks. Offering bounties on case hits when they knew that they had already pulled the case hit out of the cases and were just putting boxes out to show that there was 12 boxes like there isn't a case. Lots and lots and lots of that stuff. And enough complaints resulted in an investigation by Whatnot, and Whatnot kicked them off the platform.
You know how hard it is to get kicked off of Whatnot?
It's real hard. If Backyard Breaks is still there, yeah.
We're going back to the lettuce wrap now.
Yeah, I'm just making one. You're good. Keep talking.
Can we not do this ever again after today?
Go. Let's go.
It's got to be pizza or something. Like, we can't be making food. we need 30 minutes a week to not shove your gullet full. All right.
Yeah. So Blake's Breaks, bad news bears. If you were affected by Blake's Breaks, Whatnot says that they have made everybody whole and made everybody right.
Just to give you all an update, I'm still alive, but the left side of my face is tingling from the bee attack. I have 2 golf ball sized lumps on my forehead.
You look like the Elephant Man.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good, but I'm here and I'm playing through the pain for all of those of you listening.
Yeah.
All right, product reviews. Let's talk about the first one because What products do you want to talk about, Gary? Go ahead and lean into the mic. Give them what I'm working with. No, lean into the mic right now. No, lean into the mic right now. And
we can talk about all kinds of things. You got Topps Chrome came out. Mm-hmm. Platinum Anniversary came out. Mm-hmm. There's a few good things.
Huh?
There's a few good things to talk about.
Yeah. How's that taste?
Delicious.
Awesome. Topps Chrome. We just opened a couple blasters, and they were bangers.
Yeah, they were.
What did we pull out of there? We got the Josh Jung rookie auto to $4.99.
The refractor.
Yep.
And then the other box was a Justin Steele Auto. Mm-hmm. So 2 boxes left on the shelf. I got up a little bit early today and hadn't ripped anything for a minute, and I figured it'd be fun for us to rip a little bit before we started podcasting. So I grabbed a couple of blasters and a Bowman Mega. The Bowman Mega was trash.
Yeah.
But the blasters were really
You got some
nice.
decent colored inserts too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great deal on that. And then we opened a Bowman. Is that a Mega?
Yeah, trash.
Yikes.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, I took a beating on that. But the other one coming out is Platinum, Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary, which I've just been seeing different hits.
Yesterday.
Yeah, seeing different hits out there. Really, really fun product to break. You're going to feel like you have some value in it. There's some huge cards in there. For the most part, you're not going to hit those. But a lot of those
really
inserts are great. Awesome vet parallels.
But it's a $100 hobby box.
Yeah.
And I've seen some really nice ones.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is this would be a great product if you like building player sets or building a rainbow. Like, I think we've told what this means, but essentially with Topps Chrome, there's so many different color variations that you can kind of pick a random vet player. So, like, I know Eric Davis is in this product, so I'll probably be buying up some of those different, color variations, see if I can't collect them all.
Absolutely.
But that's a really good one for set building. They still have, so last year they had some type of Mickey chase in there. Is there anything like that this year?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So
last year it was called Platinum Anniversary, not Platinum, because it was the anniversary. Of the
this year's not Platinum Anniversary?
No, it's just Platinum.
Oh, okay,
Topps Chrome
gotcha.
Platinum.
Gotcha.
Last year was Platinum Anniversary because it was
That's
the 50 or the 70th
70.
anniversary of
Yep.
the 52
Yep.
mantle, the 52.
70th anniversary of the 1952. I mean, we're
Now
reaching
this
here.
year's the This year looks like the 53 set.
Yeah, it's really nice. So anyway, we would recommend picking that up, especially
It's a
that.
high-end version of Archives, basically.
And you're getting a high-end product. Now, I don't know how many packs. You're still getting a lot of cards, right? On a hobby box?
I think it's like you're getting like 80 or 100 cards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So for a high-end product, it's actually a lot of cards.
yeah.
We say high-end. For us, we just mean like the quality of the card. Obviously, there's
Yeah.
way more expensive stuff out there. But it would be in that one for us. Upcoming shows. So you and I are kind of diving into, we're spreading our wings a little bit. You're driving all over the Midwest at this point.
Yeah.
But we've got some shows coming up, so let's give them a rundown. What do we got next?
So Sunday this week, today is Thursday the 10th. So Sunday this week on the 13th, I will be in Portsmouth at Ollie's. That show is 9 to 3. So that'll be a fun one. First show that they've done in Portsmouth for 25 or 30 years. Now, Wheelersburg is reasonably close to Portsmouth, but it's not Portsmouth. So it's the first Portsmouth show in a really long time. So that should be fun. Next weekend is the South High American Legion show. You hear us talk about it all the time. It's my favorite show that I set up at. We'll both be at that show. Xenia is this weekend as well. Not setting up, but it's a great buying show. You should go. And then the 26th of August, there is a new show that is being launched here in the old Central Ohio out in Plain City. Now, it's a unique concept for a show, and it's not a big show. I think it's either 20 or 25 tables.
What's the date again?
The 26th. It's August the 26th from 10 to 3. And it's modern and ultra-modern cards only. There will not be any vintage dealers there.
Interesting.
At all. It's the guy who's promoting the show is a new promoter. So we'll see how it goes. I've given him some feedback. He's been very receptive to it. So I'm excited to go out
So where
there.
do they draw the line on that with modern? Pre-85 would be vintage?
Yeah, probably pre-junk. Junk wax back would be considered vintage. I mean, we got to remember that 1990 was 33 years ago. So
I know, but
yeah.
what if I have a couple slabs from that era?
Well, if you've got a couple things, I don't think the world's going to end. But what they're trying to avoid is they don't.
Hilliard Show 2.0?
The entire impetus behind this show was this person's terrible experiences at the Hilliard Show.
Yeah.
So they wanted
This is all Columbus, Ohio based.
Yeah,
for those of you.
they wanted a nice show at a nice location. So this show is at the Silo in Plain City. 138 West Main Street. It's August the 26th from 10 to 3.
Yeah.
And it's modern, ultra modern only. It's a show that you're probably going to be able to get in and out of and see everything there in 2.5 hours.
Yeah. You and I are hitting up a couple, 2 weeks after that? We've got one in Wheelersburg
on the 9th of September.
And then we have Newark. Is that a new show?
I believe the 26th. Yeah, that's a new show too.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one. The guy who's promoting that is a guy that is Big Don. If you're in Ohio and you're in this hobby and you go to shows a lot, you know who Don is.
Yeah.
He goes by Sporty D. Awesome guy. And I think it's going to be a great show.
Just out of respect, I did not make a Sporty Spice reference there.
That's good because he would crunch you down.
Like Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes, 100%. Just be like Donkey Kong you.
No, I shook the man's hands. They swallowed me whole.
100%.
Oh, one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
This is a little bit of a lighter episode, but it could be the venom in my head. But speaking of pain in the head, do you remember Tim Anderson getting knocked the hell out the other night?
Oh, it was great. Nothing makes me happier than somebody who has an unreasonably high level of self-confidence in all things because they're good at one or two things. And this dude squared up like he was the man. And Jose Ramirez just
falling away hook
knocked his ass out cold. I wanted that to be a Tops Now card so bad the next day, just the connection point. They didn't do it, but it would have been spectacular.
All right, you just brought up something. I want to know if you've seen this. Tops Now from the World Baseball Classic, the Ohtani
Trout.
and Trout.
Yep.
On card auto, there's 3 of them.
Well, so there's 3 of them, but not really. They only exist, not because Tops Now did them, but Trout himself bought 3 of them, and he signed them and hand numbered them to 3, and then he had Ohtani sign them and hand number 3, and they had PSA authenticate him, and then he gifted one to Shohei to get him into the hobby. And he has the other 2.
Yeah.
And if he's a smart man, he'll
I've
hold
got
on
news
to
for Shohei, whether he knows it or not. He's in the hobby.
Oh, yeah.
He's all over the hobby.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing we could touch on. Topps has already announced, and it's on all of the Topps Chrome boxes. They are doing the MVP buyback again this year. I'm not going to tell you who you should be trying to scoop,
But
I'm going to tell you that if Ohtani doesn't win the AL MVP, something has gone horribly wrong. Mm-hmm. The NL's a little murkier, and I'm not going to share the guys that I'm kind of scooping on the DL really cheap.
Is Davis Mills one of them?
Yeah, shut up. But Acuna is the guy that everybody's about 100% sure is going to win the MVP. I'm not 100% sure. I think he's probably a 75 or 80% chance, but there's 2 or 3 other guys that are making a push. That if
you think it's going to mean that you get less of them if you tell them on the airwaves?
I think it'll make the price of them go up.
You have that kind of confidence in our reach.
I do.
I love that energy, but I would not be telling you the truth.
Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson.
There we go. There we go. I like that. I like Matt Olson. I like that as an option.
Matt Olson has 103 RBIs already.
Guys, he is so cheap.
Yes.
Cheaper than he should be.
Well, it's because he played the first 5 years of his career in Oakland.
Yeah.
Where good baseball players go to die.
Yeah. Yeah, not for long.
I know, because they do the same thing the Reds do. It ship them out right before arbitration.
Yeah. Well, I meant they're moving, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that too.
Well, buddy, I'm getting a little dizzy, lightheaded here.
You just poisoned from that yellow jacket sting?
I've been attacked. It was multiple stings. And then the jerk just flew off into the rafters.
Well, the good news is when we finish this episode, I've still got a lettuce wrap to eat.
I can't wait to watch you do that.
I know.
This has been the Ball Car Show, the sports podcast.
For the sports